Alright, in this video I'm going to be demonstrating the new Boss RV-500 with a synth. In this case I'm using the Moog Mother-32. I'm doing this video because the only videos that are out on this pedal right now are all just guitar demos. And, you know, no disrespect to guitarists, that was my first instrument. I love guitar, and this pedal I'm sure is great for guitar. But you know, just like with other high-end reverb pedals like the Strymon stuff and the Eventides, this is a pedal that people who use synthesizers and other electronic musical instruments, samplers, drum machines, etc. are going to be interested in. It's not just for guitar. Actually, I'm going to go so far as to say I don't think it would be great for a guitarist because it's pretty complicated. I'm really enjoying it so far, but it's definitely a programmer's pedal. It's not the kind of pedal you just start turning the knob. There's a lot of knobs. I wouldn't say it's menu divey per se. There's really only one level of the menu, but just right off the top, something that's been something I feel like people have been confused about in a few of the other videos I've seen. This is not a preset knob. This is the mode knob. So when you turn this, it just changes the algorithm, but the settings don't shift into like a good sounding preset. So if you have them set sounding great, if you're on one of these banks, which are the presets, and it sounds really good, let's say on Hall, you might turn it to one of the other ones and it might not sound good. And I've seen guitar demos where they're just turning this mode knob and not understanding what's going on. So you really need to use this mode knob to change modes, but understand that that's not going to automatically affect the time, level, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's enough talking. I'm just going to start playing some patches I've made. I'm not going to go through each mode per se, and I'm not going to like explain all the functionality. You can find that somewhere else. What I'm going to do is just play some patches I've made and play around on the Moog. I picked this because it's a great sounding synth. It's very common. There's tons of videos and examples of people using them. There's tons of examples of people using them with other competing reverbs, so you can compare how this sounds compared to a Strymon or Eventide or whatever. And also just consistency. I'm going to do everything with the Moog, and I might do a follow-up video where I use other synths, the Minilog, the Volca. But anyway, I'll say more about that at the end, so let's get into some sounds. First, I'm just going to bank down to the first sound I made, which is actually like a looper using the Space Echo. So let's listen to that. So as you see, I can get lost in that. I'm obsessed with this patch. So this is a 10-second space echo. I used to have the RE20, I think that's the pedal, right? Not the real Space Echo. Anyway, I used to have the Boss Roland pedal version of the Space Echo. And that thing is awesome, but I definitely do not think it could do a 10-second delay. So, yeah. I could do a whole video just on that patch. But anyway, let's move on. Another awesome thing, just to note, you can set it so the patches bleed into each other. So if you have a really long one like that, you could use that to make a loop and then transition to your next bank for your next sound and start playing. And it obviously won't have that same looping effect. So this one is a harmonic verb. It's using the slow verb, which is under the SFX, sound effects algorithm, which basically actually has 3 different algorithms. It's got a lo-fi, this slow verb, and then this thing called storm. And I didn't really like the storm. I'll do an example later with the lo-fi. And then this one, the slow verb, I think you're supposed to use like a slow attack so it swells in, but I'm just using it here as like a harmonic. It's kind of like a harmonizer reverb. So it's not exactly a shimmer. It's very different from the shimmer effect, but you'll hear what I'm talking about. So yeah, it adds some different layers of harmonics. If I go into the edit menu, go to patch, we can see it's under slow verb. Try not to block with my hand. And it has this rise time, so you can do some swells, and I think there's like a sensitivity threshold, whether it does it or not. But then it has lower harmonic and upper harmonic, a unison, and a detune. So it's like a, yeah, kind of a complex poly chorus type of reverb. Anyway, I really like it. All right, the next one is just an ambient room. It's using the room mode on the ambiance size. And I don't remember what it sounds like, so let's check it out. So that's the ambient room. This is a spring patch. It's one spring, so there's multiple springs. You can do 1, 2, or 3. And I heard some people complaining about the spring on this. I think it sounds cool. You definitely have to tweak it. There's tons of parameters, so if you get in there, you have to really, mess with the EQs. Keep probably blocking the camera with my hand. There's all the EQ, there's the spring number, and there's also, obviously really important is pre-delay. Spring reverbs have a certain type of pre-delay, and if you don't dial in one that makes sense, it's not going to sound like a spring. So here's my first spring patch. We'll see how it sounds. If we really want to test a spring sound with a synth, let's do mute the oscillator with the dummy cable. Self-oscillate the filter, and then send the random into the filter. Cut off. Yeah, if you think that doesn't sound good, sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Use a real spring or get a Holy Grail. They're cheap and they sound good. Anyway, sounds good to me. So this is one I was really excited about, which is the shimmer verb. I've been using a Strymon Blue Sky for a while, and the shimmer on that's famous. It's great. I haven't used the Big Sky, so I don't know if that one's more flexible. But the Blue Sky, it's pretty much just on or off, and based on the time and what type of reverb you have set, and the pre-delay and the dry-wet setting, you'll get a different sound. But that's kind of it. It just does its thing. It's an effect that goes on or it doesn't. The shimmer on this is nothing like that. It's super in-depth. You can, if we go into the edit, I think everyone should be able to see the screen. Probably not clearly, but you'll get the idea. If we go down, you got pitch 1. That also has a fine and a release control. Release is amplitude, so how long it takes to fade out. And then level for that as well. And then, the second one, pitch 2, which also has fine, release, and level. So you can tune those however you want. These are tuned to an octave down and 2 octaves down, and then I have them fine-tuned slightly off. And so what's great about that is that the really cliched shimmer sound that we're all getting sick of has all the highs, but you don't have to do that with this. So here's what this sounds like. This is like an octave or shimmer rather than a high-pitched harmonizer. Yeah, so that sounds insane. So yeah, I'm just scratching the surface of what you can do with that. I mean, I don't have it tuned to any intervals or anything. You could have it doing chords. And I believe on the shimmer on the DD500, I heard that you could just turn the delay off and still have the shimmer effect. You can't do that here. The reverb effect level includes the whole algorithm, so you can't just use this as a like a harmonizer. You could set it to a really short reverb time. I messed around with that, but I wasn't really happy with how it sounded. So if someone else can figure it out, more power to them. And I thought, there we go. I don't know, maybe you can't. Okay, that's good to know. When you're in the menu, you can't change your bank or your patch, switching between A and B. I guess banks include an A and a B. But yeah, you can't change between A and B when you're in the edit. So that was the shimmer. This is the lo-fi I was talking about earlier. So yeah, that is what it is. It's not really a bit crusher. It might have a little bit reduction, but I'm pretty sure it's just like a telephone EQ, scooped like bandpass kind of. And there's a variable distortion, but it doesn't really get like full on. It doesn't sound like running a reverb into a fuzz, so you're not going to get like shoegaze stuff with this, but definitely could come in handy for certain things, especially if you know you had a really bassy patch. It's cool for that because it's completely like high pass, band pass EQ, so there's no like low end mud. So definitely could be useful. Okay, this is a long haul reverb. And then what I have here is first example of where you can stack patches. So I made a mod that I deliberately made just to be used with A. So you can run it so the A, the long haul, runs in series into B, and then there's no dry signal on the B channel. So you just get A mixed with A plus B, if that makes sense. So I'll let you hear what mod sounds like without A. It doesn't sound very good, but... So this is what I was talking about earlier, using the shimmer with like a really short reverb time, a lot of modulation, and also like a chorusy modulated delay. It sounds pretty good. But if we go into edit, for this you have to just decide that you're going to do this in the system. I guess I might just get used to running it this way, because you can still select to only have one patch on. And I'm probably not going to want to menu dive every time I want to do this. So it's a foot switch mode, normal, A, B, C, which lets you actually save a C preset for every bank, and if you're not going to use the tap tempo, and then A and B simultaneous. Yeah, there's a lot of options with this. You could run each of them as completely independent mono reverbs through the A and the B. So one in, one out for each channel. I think that would probably be cool for guitarists. For what I want to do, I need this to be stereo, so it's not really an option. And then you can actually just run them both parallel and then have them mixed, so not sent into each other. But here I'm running them in series, so A, the long haul, goes into the mod. So let's hear what that sounds like. So first, here's the haul again. So we remember that. Here's our mod. And then both. So yeah, that's pretty nuts. That's one of the things that I think is the coolest about this pedal, is the stacking. So definitely looking forward to exploring that more. I don't even know what this one is, to be honest. Oh, and you can switch between which one you're editing. You do that with the arrows, and then time value, you switch between the delay and the reverb, which is great. Okay, so, oh yeah, this is the SRV, which is based on an old Roland rack reverb. It's awesome. So there's a ton of different modes. This is a large hall, but it's got rooms and plates, and it definitely has a lot of character, and it's very different from the room, hall, and plate modes. So this one, just so we understand what's going on. Yeah, it's got a lot of modulation on it. And some delay, it looks like. Or, yeah, some delay. I can turn the delay off, but... So you can hear the delay on that. It's a basic Boss delay. To my ears, it sounds a lot like just the standard digital delay setting on a DD5 or a DD6. And it's available on every patch, which is amazing. I'll turn it off real quick so we can hear it. You can do different like shortcuts for that, but the way I'm doing it right now is just switch over to delay and turn effect level off. So that's just the verb. I like it with the delay though. Yeah, so the delay is either parallel or in series prior to the reverb. And I was a little bummed that you couldn't do reverb before delay if you wanted to. Obviously, like, delay into reverb is probably more common practice for guitarists or, like, you know, by the book signal processing, because the idea being that you have a delayed sound and then you're trying to place it in a space, right? But what if you want to delay that space? That's something that I do all the time, and it's a very cool effect. And I was like, you can't do that. That's annoying. But you can, because you can do patch stacking. So patch stacking to the rescue. If you want to run your reverb into a delay, just make your A patch your verb and make a patch on B that just has delay without any reverb, and then run it in series. So that's awesome. And you can also use that for like chorus effects. So this next one, I call it Space Plate. And this is the first one I've done that has, where I'm utilizing the internal modulation bus. This is crazy. I haven't even begun to mess with it. But from what I can tell, basically you can route 8 different control signals to 8 different parameters per patch. And that's every single parameter on the pedal, basically. Except, I think, like program changes. I don't even know. But like patch level stuff, you definitely can modulate all of it. And that could be from the expression pedal input, and you can route that. I believe it's a stereo input, so you could actually have 2 different expression pedals coming in, because it gives you 2 options. Then it could be from a tap tempo, which could be this actual switch, or going into that expression pedal input with a tap tempo pedal. Or I'm almost positive, and you got to be careful about this, so don't go do it and then break your pedal and get mad at me, but almost every tap tempo input on Boss pedals that I've used works with gates from a synth. So you could clock it from, you know, a modular synth or anything that puts out a gate. You might want to attenuate the voltage. I'm not sure what kind of voltage it's expecting, but I'm going to start messing with that later. Haven't gotten into that yet. I'll probably do another video using the modular with it. But anyway, the other option, there's 2 other options. Well, then obviously there's MIDI CCs, which is crazy. So you could have 8 different customized routings for your MIDI CCs. I'm pretty sure. And then the other thing is there's these 2 internal mod sources. So that's what I'm using in this patch. One of them is a triggered, like an envelope, basically. They call that internal pedal, and that waits for an event to cause it to happen. I don't think it's cyclical. It'll just happen whenever a certain event occurs, like hitting a switch, or on program change, it can like trigger when you first turn the patch on, or there's all kinds of things you can set it to do, so it's pretty complicated. This one I'm using the wave pedal, which is another internal mod source, and that is basically just an LFO. This is why I'm saying this is not a pedal for guitarists, all right? Any guitarist, like, I mean, I'm sure you stopped watching a while ago, but if you've made it this far, you're like, what the hell is this dude talking about? Yeah, so anyone who knows what an LFO is, you have to understand that this thing has 8 LFOs, okay? It has 8 wave pedals. The wave pedals can be assigned to 8 different things. It's different ones per. I was like, oh, it must just be 1, right? No, the rate is different for each of the assigns. So that's 8. That means it's 8 LFOs. Like, I don't understand why they don't advertise that. It's crazy. So as you can see the time on this, hopefully you can see it on the screen, it is flying. So I am modulating this thing. If we go into edit mode, and you'll see it move, so you know it's working, which is great. It's not, again, the manual for this thing sucks, and they don't really explain how anything works. So you just have to roll with it. So I'm still trying to figure out, like, what's my max rate time? What's my minimum? Like, you know what I mean? Can I reliably... You can set it to note values, so I guess that means you can BPM sync the LFOs. But of course they don't call them LFOs, so no one has any idea what's even happening. But like here, I've got my mod rate, because again, I mean, if you think about it, really, it has even more than 8 LFOs, because mod is an LFO. So mod, I don't know what algorithm they're using, but it sweeps the frequency in some way that causes like a chorus effect internal to the reverb. Some proprietary algorithm, I'm sure. And so you've got that on the verb and the delay per patch, right? And that can be an independent rate. So what I've got going is I've got my wave pedals modulating my modulation. You got to modulate your modulation. If you're not doing that, I don't know. I feel sorry for you. So I'm doing that on delay as well. And then I'm also just straight up modulating the delay time, which is, you can see it dancing right there. And that's just with 3. There's 8. I don't even know what to do. This thing is crazy. So I know I've just been rambling, but this is a crazy pedal and it excites me. Like, I'm telling you, I'm one of those people who've been watching my videos for a while. I often have like 7 pedals running in series. No joke, this one pedal sounds better than like 8 pedals. Like, I used to like waste money on like crappy chorus pedals that I would put after my crappy reverb, and like a crappy vibrato that I'd put on one part of the stereo, you know, thinking like I'm gonna make this pedal chain, it's gonna be so great. That's dumb. Don't do that. Just buy this. It's better. All right, so that's all I have for right now. I'm going to definitely make more patches. I'm going to do more videos. Comment, let me know what you want to see. I'm definitely going to run my drum root through this. I just got a Digitact, so I'm going to play around with those two for sure. Really excited about, you know, sending some parameter locks and CC sequencing from the DT to this. I'm going to do modular stuff. But I can also just do a video where I run through different synths all through the same patches, so you can hear the difference. I've got a Volca keys I could use. I've got a mini log, like I said earlier. So yeah, let me know what you want to hear. Definitely going to run some drums and samples and stuff through this. Or if there's like a particular type of patch you'd like me to try to make, I can give it a shot. Anyway, I make no apologies for my keyboard playing. I'm playing on the stupid little rubber keys on the Mother. I do not care. So yeah. And if you think I talk too much, then watch someone else's videos. So thanks to everyone who supports me and likes and comments. And, you know, constructive feedback is always great, but if you just want to comment and be a jerk, then I'm going to be a jerk to you. I know it's better to take the high road and ignore people, but that's not how the fuck I roll. So if you criticize me, I'm going to tear the shit out of you because you suck. That's about it. Thanks.